Boom, we are live, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to the Nolan Huckeye Anthony YouTube channel. And I thank all of you for being here, wherever you may be. And of course, however you may be listening. So, this is the Iowa versus Illinois postgame show. I do want to talk a little bit about where Iowa basketball stands in lieu of this loss to Illinois. Also, Iowa women's basketball did defeat Nebraska in the Big 10 women's basketball tournament championship, making it the third straight time that they have won the tournament, which is amazing. Hats off to them. Congrats to them. Caitlin Clark absolutely has turned Iowa's basketball program into one of the premier basketball programs in all the country. Is that something that can be replicated? Time will tell. I mean, the thing is that I have looked at some of the recruiting rankings. Iowa women's basketball does recruit better than the men's side. Every class they generally speaking have multiple top 100 players or at the very least one. But with that said, some of these year in, year out contenders, the UConns, the South Carolinas, the LSUs, they sign multiple top 20 players in each class. Okay. So also, Iowa landed an in-state player in Caitlin Clark. And honestly, she actually really did consider going elsewhere. It was a major recruiting win for Iowa basketball. It was not a no-brainer that she was going to choose Iowa. So is this replicable? Time will tell. I mean, will Iowa be able to recruit a notch better once Caitlin Clark is gone? Maybe. And I wouldn't be surprised if they are able to do so. Will they be able to consistently land a Caitlin Clark? No, I mean, few players have been a Caitlin Clark, but I'm talking like in the stratosphere, because like for example, UConn was on a streak of landing, Maya Moore, Diana Taurasi. I mean, just always landing the top, and even still, they got the Paige Bookers or Bukers chick. So, but it is certainly possible that Iowa will raise the bar in what they are able to recruit once Caitlin Clark is gone. Will it be so much better to where they're consistently landing top 20 players? I don't think so. That's very hard to do. I think it requires even more success than what Iowa has had as a basketball program. I mean, UConn won multiple national championships. That is what is required to become a program that consistently lands multiple top 20 players. But I do think that Iowa will be able to recruit well enough to where they are consistently tops of the Big 10, top three programs in the Big 10. Um, there's still a lot to be determined. I mean, we don't know how much more success Caitlin Clark will have. I mean, it's assumed she'll have success, but will she go on to the WNBA and win, there honestly, that's probably a lesser factor. But for example, this year, will Iowa be able to get back to the national championship and maybe even win it? Those are the types of things that factor in to how it goes. Now, Iowa will definitely recruit better. They've had 2 years now in the last 5 years. Let me see if I can find it, where they have played in a Final Four. They had the one with Monica, I think her name was. Um, let's see. Iowa women's basketball. Let's see here. And so they went. Oh, they went to the Elite Eight in 2019. So, and the Sweet 16 in 2021. I can't believe I'm blanking on what her name was, the center that Iowa had. Um, Megan Gustafson. So, time will tell. Will they be able to make it to the national championship this year? I think it's safe to say that Iowa will, at the very least, recruit slightly better. And I think Iowa women's basketball will be a mainstay under Lisa Bluter in the Big Ten. But will they be able to reach this type of success again? It's going to be hard. It's not easy to find diamonds in the rough like Megan Gustafson, and it's also equally not easy to recruit five-star players like Caitlin Clark, and then on top of that, for them to be uh, um, as successful as projected, if not more so. So, but congratulations to them for winning. They defeated Nebraska in overtime. It's awesome. I'm glad they're having success, and that's great. Now, moving on to Iowa men's basketball. Um, listen, guys. I was very hopeful for this game based on what Iowa was able to do against Illinois last time on the road, but they just laid an egg in this one, especially at home. I feel terrible for all the fans that came out to this game and packed the house because all the fans knew how important this game was, but Iowa just was not able to get it done. And Cricky had a terrible night. Tony Perkins had a terrible night. And the main contributors got completely shut down. The only guys that were worth anything in this game was Sanford, Dix, and Freeman. So what does this mean? Well, it's pretty much been the same, guys. I said that Iowa, if they beat Illinois, would be projected to be in the NCAA tournament before the Big 10 tournament had even started. If they lost, and they would have to win probably at least one game in the Big 10 tournament, although even if they lost their first game in the Big 10 tournament, I would still say that they had a decent shot of making the NCAA tournament just off of sorry guys, I slipped on the thing, just off of the recent success that they had and how hot they were to finish the year and the quality wins that they had to finish the year. If they lost, they were going to have to win multiple games in the Big 10 tournament. And that is the case now. Iowa is going to have to win minimum, I would say, 3 games to definitely 2. I mean, it depends on who they get in the second round of the Big 10 tournament. But they're going to have to minimum win 2, probably more like 3. I mean, Iowa's probably going to have to make it to the minimum semifinals, probably have to make it to the finals in order to make it to the NCAA tournament. So that's where things stand. It's too bad. This season was really decided by the middle part of the year for Iowa, losing to Michigan, and not being able to get a signature win early in the year against the likes of like Oklahoma, Creighton, and Iowa State, Purdue, and Iowa had plenty of chances. I think when all is said and done, by the end of the year, this year, Iowa underperformed what I expected defensively. I thought they were going to be much improved. I will no longer expect that to be the case. I'm tired of being the fool that expects Iowa to be better, improved defensively. It's just not the case. They were just as bad, if not worse, at times than they were last year. Let's look at the KenPom now that we have a lot of data. So, I mean, and listen, guys, Illinois is no joke. I mean, they are a top 10 KenPom team and a top 25 ranked team in general, top 20 team net. Um, Iowa's 52nd. They're 149th in adjusted D and 15th in adjusted O. It's pretty much the same thing as last year. It's just last year they were able to pick up a few more wins. Last year they were 41st and they got the 8th seed. They were definitely better offensively last year, and slightly worse defensively. So Iowa has improved about 20 spots defensively, and they've gone backwards about 11 spots offensively. So they were 4th and 168th last year, in which they were an eight seed. And this year they were 15th and 149th. So, this team, when all is said and done, for much of the season was very inconsistent, but was more on the positive end of being inconsistent with more wins than losses, obviously, or slightly above that. And the separation that you see in the 5 games being over 500 is basically the beginning part of the year in which they played, quad 4 teams, and the end part of the year in which they got hot from February through March. Now that we're in March. Now we're not all the way, well, pretty much the month of February. So, but in those two, well, let me separate the beginning part. They were inconsistent minus those 2 parts, but one part they didn't play the best of teams. The other, I think, is more representative of who they actually are as a team, which is they are a slightly above average team. They have moments of being a good team, but they also have moments of being a below average team, balancing it out at being an above average team. And that is why they are hanging in the balance, erring on the side of likely not being in the NCAA tournament this year. So let's just check. Here's Iowa's stats: 23 for Peyton Sandfort, 13 for Josh Dix, Owen Freeman 8, Brock Harding 6. I thought Brock Harding gave some good minutes. I'm looking forward to what he's able to do next year. I mean, there's no reason, guys, when you are at home that you should shoot 35% from the field. And quite frankly, the fact that Iowa was able to hold Illinois to 44%, not, if you would tell me before the game that Iowa was going to hold Illinois to 44% shooting, I would say that they're winning this game. I mean, even free throws, they shot terrible, below 70%, 8 of 13. They got abysmally out-rebounded, 53-37. I'm surprised they didn't lose by more, quite frankly. I mean, in all the major stats, they got whooped. Let's look at Bart Torvik here, and then we'll be done. So I would say right now, guys, they're probably not in the NCAA tournament. They did move up to 57th in the net rankings, but the net rankings aren't everything. As you guys can see here, their matrix seed is first 4 out. I don't understand how Seton Hall is in, but Iowa is not. I don't understand how that works when Iowa is multiple spots ahead of Seton Hall, and they have the head-to-head victory over Seton Hall. I don't understand that. I think maybe because Seton Hall has a better strength of record, but I don't understand that. So let's see here. Let's look at their team cast. So I think they were 17-point dogs in this game. So at least they didn't lose that. Their projected T rank is 48. I'm not sure what the T rank is. So they're way below. I mean, they're multiple teams below the seed line. So they're at seventh. Again, I don't understand how Seton Hall is in, but Iowa isn't. It doesn't make sense to me. But it doesn't have Iowa's seed as 63rd in the net. Correct. I mean, maybe that's what Iowa is going to fall to, but I don't understand that because their net ranking is 57th last time I checked. So, I mean, look at this. Yeah, it's 57th. I don't understand why it says that they're 63rd. I don't get that. So, anyways, but I think they're probably on the outside looking in. Just to be fun here, let's. I mean, so maybe they're gonna play Minnesota. So if they won one and lost one, that would put them pretty much right where they're at. Huh, that's interesting. So if they beat Minute, they won their first one and won their second one, it has them squarely in. That's interesting. So I don't know. I think, like I said, they minimum have to win 2 games. Um, I think that that's where things stand right now. Let's look at the Big Ten standings. Um, I don't know how many games are left to be played. So Iowa finished tied for sixth. They could have with the win today, they could have finished um on their own in first, second, third, fourth, fifth in a tie for fifth, but they have a tie for sixth. We'll see how the tiebreakers go. I believe Indiana has the tiebreaker over Iowa, but Iowa has the tiebreaker over Michigan State. So, I mean, it's not bad. I think Iowa did better than a lot of people expected. Um, so Iowa would probably play Minnesota Let's see. Let's see if it is set. Oh, so it wasn't set when this was. Oh, Iowa will play Ohio State. So Iowa did finish 7th behind Indiana. Not bad. I mean, let's see what that would be. So let's go back to Bart Torvik. Let's do Ohio State because I think Ohio State. I mean, Ohio State is like right where Iowa is at. Um, so if they, I think that would be a quad two victory. Oh yeah. I mean, they still could do it. I mean, let's say they lost to Illinois though again, but they beat Ohio State. It would have them out. So they have to win 2 games in the Big 10 tournament. Um, I think that's where things stand pretty squarely. Oh, here it is. Here it is. Yeah, and then they would play Illinois if they won in the quarterfinals. So I think Iowa needs to make the semifinals, or at the very least, they have to make the semifinals, or else the season is done. So, all right, guys, thank you guys so much for watching. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And last but not least, DBAP, don't be a pussy with all facts or feelings because your feelings just don't matter. Love you guys. See you guys next time. Go Hawks. Bye bye.